Well, hello, hello, hello. Uh, Welcome to Toonkind D&D. This is a 12 frames per second session. Your host today is me, Noah, and I am, of course, graced by the wonderful guest of... Introduce yourself now, please.
Oh, my name's Avi. Uh,
Avi, who are you playing
Avi.
as today?
Oh, I will be playing as Super Marian, Marian Leapguy Mercutio, the wonderful Italian accented plumber man
Oh yeah, that's a
that everybody knows and loves.
Okay. And I am playing a character that has not been seen in any games or anything like that yet. Her name is Millie Nair. She is a milliner, which is a fancy word for a hat designer. She is a raven, and she just really likes hats. That's basically her entire personality.
She just thinks they're neat.
She holds up like a couple different hats, and she goes, "I just think they're neat." So would you like to set the scene, Avi, or do you want me to do that? Because I can at least say starting off in the hat shop, for example.
Uh, I don't know what your hat shop is like, so
You want me to set the scene then?
yeah.
I can do that, no problem. It's okay. All right, so our little mini tale begins in a tiny little standalone shop somewhere in the Gisnep Kingdom. This shop looks relatively small from the outside, but it's one of those locations where you walk in and it seems even bigger. And every single part of this store is covered wall to wall with various types of hats. We've got bonnets, we've got fedoras, we've got beanies, we've got trilbies, we've got sailor caps, we've got pilot caps, we've got every single possible imaginable hat right there in that store. And all of them are just completely wildly different from one another. There is a hat to fit every single type of toon out there, all made from a wide variety of different styles. And no, this is not an advertisement, although I'm realizing it's slowly sounding like one. Alongside all these hats is a very small little raven, Toonkind. She is wearing a white prairie-style bonnet, which peeks over her head and covers actually most of her eyes, as well as a rather plain-looking dress in dark purple with a white apron on front. She is busying herself by dusting off various hats that seem to have no dust whatsoever on them. There are no other employees in the store at the moment because the only other employee she had for the day called out at the last moment because, they didn't actually give a reason. She's like, go ahead, go, stay home.
Yeah, they have a job.
And so the store is empty until she hears a jingle right at the door, meaning that someone has entered. This is where you come in.
Marian is he's a human-looking Toonkind. I think I have him down as a rubber hose. Actually, no, I have him down as a Warren. He he's dressed in blue overalls, and he has this red plaid shirt underneath, and that's the sleeves are rolled up for and he's wearing
I really need you guys
a bright yellow scarf, and the ends of which kind of flow behind him, kind of like a cape. And he enters the shop, and he looks around. He's just,
Millie does...
And
Sorry, continue.
no, he's that's it.
Millie does not initially notice this new tune into her store. She is too busy whistling very softly to herself I can't whistle, so I cannot demonstrate. It is as she turns around, that she finally notices Marian and jumps slightly. Oh dear. Pardon me, sir. You startled me just a little bit. How can I help you today?
Oh, I am very sorry for startling you. I was just in town and I was hoping to buy something for some friends of mine. I travel a lot and I was looking for, I suppose souvenirs would be the right word, but your hats.
Perfect. That's wonderful. You have come to just the right store for this situation. Tell me, what are your friend's favorite colors?
I know my brother loves the green very much.
Green. Oh, that is a perfect color. I do so love the color green, don't you?
Well, yes, that's I do love the color green. My second favorite, right next to the red. He rubs his arm as he says that, kind of bashfully. Do you think you can help me pick something out for my brother at least?
Your brother. Oh, is he about the same appearance as you, or is he taller, shorter, different facial structure altogether? Don't worry. Never mind. Don't mind. Forget that question. Here, let me take you. And her feathers ruffle up a little bit, and she gently pats his hand, and takes it into her others. like she's basically got his hand in between her two little wings, and she's like slowly like edging him along to this one wall, with just, you don't know how, but for some reason it's all become color coded and it's all just green. So, when looking for a particular hat, what sort of ideas, what sort of things does he do on a daily basis? Does he tend to work more in the sun? Does he look more for a sort of fashionable thing? Of course, all my hats are fashionable; they always are. But I mean, in the sense of that's all he really does. Sorry, no, not to assume anything. Sorry, please continue, please.
Well, my brother, he's taking care of our plumbing business while I'm traveling, but he does work more often than I do. He attends to be around plenty of people because of our business, but I was hoping something to get him something that would be, how do I say this? He's a very nervous person, and I was hoping I could find something that could maybe give him a little bit of more of a confidence boost, if that makes sense.
Oh, you're looking for one of my enchanted hats. Yes, of course. That changes the whole game. And she presses a little button that you're not sure where it came from, but the entire like wall flips around, and it's still green hats, but all of these look slightly, I don't know. There's some sort of vibe to them. If you wanted to roll Arcana, I could go more in depth as to what the kind of vibe is, but I'll leave that up to you.
I will roll for it. He has a 0 in Arcana. Nice. Oh, that's the wrong command. That was the wrong number. That's a 7.
That's 7. All right. As far as Marian can tell, these are just some slightly flashier hats. Like, they catch your eye slightly more, but other than that, there's nothing really special about them. They're just kind of there. But, I mean, they look pretty cool. So, she quickly, like, browses over, her eyes skirt over all the different hats, and she picks out one that is a giant sun hat, like, absolutely, like, huge, at least, like, about as wide as she is tall, which then again is not very much because she's rather short for a toon, like even as a toon.
Yeah.
And it's slightly tilted and got all sorts of green feathers all over it. And she goes, here, try this on, try this on. You're around the same. You said you were around the same size ish.
Actually, he's a bit more a little bit taller than I am. A little bit thinner. He kind of
Okay, of course, of
looks
course.
down at
And
his own body.
so she claps her hands, and this little mini, not quite mini, but it's a little like mannequin that is kind of like the body shape that you described. However, the head is, of course, the only part that really matters. So it's just there. All right. And when you say he's about this tall, and she holds up her little wing up to how tall the mannequin is. Shorter, taller?
About to this tall, and he like holds up his hand to like a little bit above his own head.
She snaps her fingers, and the mannequin magically grows that tall. It's kind of weird, actually.
Nice. That's a very unique trick you got there.
Thank you. It was my own design spelled. Also, and then she puts the hat on top, and this thing, like the weight of all the feathers, makes it droop rather dramatically over the entire face. Maybe it would look good for some people, but you get the vibe that this is not something that his brother would like.
He kind of considers it. He looks at it and he's like humming thoughtfully. He's just like, I do like the style personally, but I don't think my brother would like it as much. I'm trying to figure out a way to word this. I think it might be a bit too heavy for his taste. A bit too
Oh, more sort of designs. Yes. And she takes the hat off. Like she has to hop up a little bit in order to take the hat off of the head, and throws it to the side somewhere.
Do you need a little help?
Oh no! Don't worry at all. Just keep seated. Just tell me what you need me to do. And she takes the hat. She throws it off to the side, and you don't hear it land, but you also don't know where it went. You're not sure what just happened to that hat.
Magic hat shop checks out.
Yeah. She goes back over the wall of hats, and she's like squinting a little bit to look at it. She pulls out a little pair of specs from her apron and is looking really closely. She's got like the whole like, I don't know how to describe it. She's got that whole look, and then stops. And it's all the way closer to the top of the wall. And it's just, you can't really see it because the wall is that tall. She goes, oh dear, that might be a bit too tall. Dreadfully sorry for the question, but would you perhaps be capable of grabbing that one? And she points at it. And this thing is at least like 3 times over what her maximum jump ability is.
All right.
She also does not keep ladders in here because what if someone accidentally walks under it? That's bad luck. This is a good vibes only store.
My roommates have started talking.
I'm going to fight
Give me
them.
1 second.
Just take your time.
Alright, I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
You said it was like about 3 times her jump height.
Granted, her jump height is not very much because she does not jump very often.
Alright. I did, in fact, give Marian proficiency in athletics. So I can, in fact, make a jump for it.
Do it.
Here we go, boys. Big money, no whammies.
Big money, no whammies.
That's a 19.
Yeah.
Just like the classic boing Mario jump sound effect. He kind of just leaps up and grabs the hat, and he comes down and he just hands it over.
She's like, oh, thank you, sir. You are so very helpful. I do appreciate that very much. And the hat is more of a pork pie style hat. I'll when I go over this again, I'll like attach references, images of what these kind of hats look like.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, so pork pie hat is kind of similar into a fedora and a trilby mix with a bit more of a roundedness to it, not quite like a bowler. So it's got that general sort of thing, and it's not as feathery and flashy, but it is an unfortunate shade of neon green. And she once again puts it on the little model. How about that? How does that look?
I think it's a nice green, but my brother is more of a subdued color, I suppose.
More along the lines of a foresty green, or perhaps, is it more like a candy apple, or even perhaps, is it more of a mossy green, or is he more along the lines of like a sort of Chernobyl tint? Oh, my goodness, there's so many different shades of green. I just think green is such a fascinating color. Granted, I'm more of a purples fan myself. Oh, sorry, I'm getting offhand again. Please, continue.
Oh, don't worry, purple's also a nice color. I know somebody who likes a purple too. But I believe he would be more of a... I'm trying to remember my greens. I am so sorry.
It's okay. You don't actually have to know exact greens. Just I'll make.
He's a more of a lighter shade of a forest green, I suppose.
Sort of like a leafy green.
Yes.
Oh, what a refreshing color. Reminds me almost, not quite as light as mint, of course, but still. Oh, perfect. And she once again takes the hat, throws it off to the side. You have no idea where it just went. And she
disappears.
Yeah, it disappears again into the void. Goodbye, hat. And she's scanning.
This entire store is a hammer space.
Yeah, more or less. This whole thing vibes with magical energy. You're not sure what kind of magical energy, but it seems pretty nice.
Marian's chill here.
Yeah. She is once again looking over all the wall of green hats specifically, and she spots another bonnet. She goes, I personally am a huge fan of bonnets. They're wonderful for keeping the shade out of one's eyes, and they often can come in lots of different colors depending on how many frills or ribbons, or even none of which you want. And she's like continuously going on and on and on. Like, she starts, like, her words start blurring together. She's talking so fast because she's so excited.
Both of you two assumed that Marian would interrupt her.
Yeah, no, I didn't think you would, but also she's just going at it. And she pulls down this hat, and it is not quite the sort of prairie style bonnet that she has, where it's way longer brim, but it's decently sized. It's like made out of a sort of lacy material, and you can't quite tell what, but there's a sort of sparkle to it. She plops it down on the mannequin. She goes, "How about this?" She does the Will Smith pose.
Marian kind of chuckles and he goes, I think it would work well with his dresses.
Oh, he wears dresses. Oh, wonderful. I do so love it when a man is comfortable with his femininity.
He's a bit self-conscious, but I've been trying to encourage him to be a bit more open about it. But I'm very proud of how far he's come. But
you seem to care about him a lot. Tell me, is he your younger or your older brother?
Oh, he's my younger brother. He's I would not be where I am now without him. I would say that.
Please do continue.
Well, we grew up together. We've pretty much done everything together, I suppose. My father was the one who, he had a carpentry business, while we were growing up, and we would help each other, but my brother and I, we went into, plumbing, so we started our own, plumbing business, back in my, home country. There was a whole ordeal with the prince there, and I ended up having to rescue this prince, and he was very nice. But my brother, he helped support me during this very trying time, and this scarf I'm wearing, it was actually a gift from my brother Lucius.
His name is Lucius.
And he kind of like tugs on his little yellow scarf.
She sort of I don't know how to explain it, but she sort of flutters both of her wings over where her heart roughly is, and she goes, "He sounds absolutely fantastic. You are so lucky to have him as a brother. You said you rescued a prince, though. Fascinating. Tell me. Where are you from, then, if you're not from Einquell?"
I'm from called Fruit Country. If I am being honest, the prince there, he does get into a little bit of trouble quite often, but I suppose you could say I've made a name for myself by rescuing this prince very often.
And yet you're a plumber and not a knight. Or are you both?
Oh no! I am not a knight. He starts getting really self-conscious here, and he goes, perhaps if I was, it would make a bit more sense, having to rescue royalty,
and
would definitely make talking to him a bit more easier.
As he's talking, Millie gets like this little twinkling look in her eye, and she inches, like, very slowly, so he doesn't really quite notice that she's like walking away. She inches towards this other wall, which instead of hats is just various accessories to go onto hats, pins and so on. And she pulls out this actually, I'm going to make sure I get the right one. So I'm going to roll, where'd it go? No, I don't want to edit that one. Where'd it go? Here we go, found it. I'm going to
a humble plumber.
I'm going to have her actually roll insight to know exactly what kind of pin she wants to grab, to make sure she's got this right. So.
Boy.
Okay, so she has a rough idea of what she's doing. She reaches towards the wall, and she pulls out this it's like a sort of not quite pink, not quite red, right in that little middle zone where you can't quite tell which of the colors it is. and it is just in the shape of a little tiny star. That's all it is. And very small little thing. And she inches back towards him, and she goes, "Here, free of charge. This might help you out a little bit when it comes to conversing with him." And she pins it right onto his little scarf, little yellow cape thing, like right on the front.
Are you sure you just want to give this to me? I do have gold.
Do not. Shh. My pleasure. Absolutely. Please, with all your wonderful stories that you're sharing, I simply must.
Marian kind of just smiles, kind of blushes. It's a little bashful about that, and he just goes, well, you are very kind, Miss, I'm so sorry, I did not get your own name.
Of course, no worries. I tend to get caught up in my different passions. My name is Millie Nair.
It's very nice to meet you, Millie. I am Marian Mercutio. Some people have given me the nickname Leapguy.
And she
kind of like
she sort of like puts her wing up to her forehead like a gentle dame in a Victorian style movie. No, that sort of thing, Edwardian sort of thing, and. She goes, "Oh, that name, it's making me swoon. Anyway, we still need to get a hat for your brother, right?"
Oh, right, yes. I'm so sorry, I got off track.
No, I'm the one who distracted you. She moves back to the wall with the green hats on it. Somehow during that conversation, the green bonnet disappeared, and you're not sure where it went. But at this point, you're just like, whatever. And she actually stops and she goes, "It might be easier if you try to look." And so I'm going to ask you to roll, would this be investigation or perception? Because it's looking at the general wall of hats at whatever looks best.
I think investigation would be like for something specific, and perception is just like looking around.
Okay, so I think you should roll investigation for a good hat. Doesn't have to be a perfect hat, just a good hat.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. It's a 15.
A 15. So he points out a particularly nice shade of green hat. Do you want me to make up what kind of hat it is, or do you just want to say it's a good hat?
See, the hat I have in mind is like, I don't remember what they're called, but they're kind of like those hats you typically see golfers wearing.
Oh, yeah, little caddy hats, I think is what they're called. I know what you're talking about, though. They're just a cap, basic, more or less.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so because you rolled a 15, it's not quite in that exact same area. It's not like the best hat, but it's a simple, simplistic cap. Looks more like a baseball cap, really, ultimately. And it has just a little embroidered smiley face on the bill of it. Not on the front, but on the bill. And luckily it's pretty close to the ground, so Millie manages to grab it really simply, and she puts it on the mannequin. She goes, "Ta-da!"
I think you would love this.
Oh, of course. And this one in particular, unfortunately, the embroidery spell that I have on it is not quite the strongest. I can go over it again for you if you'd like, to really help with his presentation, if you understand what I'm trying to get at.
Say that one more time. I'm like hearing things. Give me a second.
So basically, she gets the hat and she's like, okay, the spell on this has worn off a little bit over time, but I can add, I can go over the embroidery again and help it stay in place if you'd like.
If it's not too much trouble, I wouldn't want to make it do more work than is necessary.
Of course not. And she reaches into her. No, not into her pockets. She rustles around in her cap and pulls out a singular embroidery needle, puts that in her beak, and then reaches down into her apron. Her apron pockets are her hammer space, by the way, so everyone else is aware. And she pulls out a nice, like, sort of sparkling, metallic, dark green embroidery thread, and just right in front of him, she just starts stitching on and going over the little smiley face on the bill of the hat again. And all the while, she's keeping she's keeping eye contact with Marian, and she's like, "So, tell me more about this little prince of yours."
Oh, he's certainly something. I could say that he's blushing again. I've always imagined Marian as like a kind of like rosy-faced guy, but like as he talks about the prince, he gets a little bit redder because he does have a crush, but he's too humble to say anything about it. He says, we are not. I suppose you could say we are very good friends, especially ever since I started taking up the prince rescuing business. He does invite me over to the castle a lot, and he bakes a really good cake. I could tell you that.
What do you call him?
I'm trying to remember his name. I've been staring at his background for a while. His name is Prince Shiitake.
Sounds delicious. You're making me just a tad hungry, of course. Just a wee bit.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Well, it is called Fruit Country for a reason. It turns out that the reason why he keeps getting into trouble, you could say, is he finds the castle life, I suppose, a bit boring. So recently we decided that we would both travel, and we would keep in contact, and he would return to the kingdom every so often. I would write letters and whatever, and he's kind of lost for words because he wants to like keep talking about him, but he's just so.
And Millie is not like doing anything. She's just continuously embroidering and looking up at him with this like head tilted, sort of expectant look. Like, go on, keep going. Like she's not a grandma. She's not even old enough to be a grandma, but she's got the grandma vibe, where you just want to tell everything to her.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Marian, he takes a deep sigh and he says, I suppose, I'm a bit nervous to say anything because he's a prince, and all I am is a plumber and a royalty, and someone like me, people would talk, and I don't know if
this Prince Shiitake, He invites you over frequently?
He does quite often.
And he does so openly?
Sometimes.
How many times have you rescued him, per se? Estimate.
Oh, I've lost track several times. From the same person, it's been well over 20 times, I believe. But in a general, it's way too many times. We do get in a lot of trouble lately.
My goodness.
All right.
You're a little heartsick, aren't you?
Yeah, I suppose you could say that, yes.
Oh, you poor dear. It reminds me back when I was just a young lass. Oh my dear. And she feels like she's about to go into a story, but she just kind of stops and she starts like staring off in the distance, thinking about whatever this dear whoever is. And she shakes her head. She goes, "But never mind all that. Are you sure you wouldn't like to get a gift for your prince as well?"
Oh, I was just about to ask.
I would absolutely love to do so. I would even be willing to do a custom order if you so wished. Oh my goodness, wait, I'd be making something for royalty. Oh my goodness. And she starts going back and forth, and she ends up going in a circle a couple times. And she's just all aflutter because, oh my goodness. Sure, she may not know the kingdom that the prince belongs to, but this is royalty. And she goes, quick, what color is like? No, don't tell me, let me guess. And she's flitting about, she's going back and forth, she's still figuring it out. The embroidery work on Lucius's cap, though, she did kind of forget about. It is actually on top of her hat now. Like, she's wearing a bonnet, and then the cap that you picked out for Lucius on top of it. And she pulls out this little it's not even really a hat, it's more of a headband. But it's a wide headband. And she just goes, like, I don't know how to explain it, because it's...
I mean, you have my interest, so, like...
It kind of has a similar feeling to it as, like, say, that's the wrong word, bridal veil, I guess, but it's obviously not one. It's just got that sort of like long droopiness to it, and the place where it hangs, like closer to the back-ish part of the head. It's just kind of like it's a weird design, something you've never seen before. Although I do not know the color of it. You can make up the color.
It's probably like a sort of peachy orange color.
Okay, that makes sense. And she looks at it, she goes, normally, of course, it does not come with any particular drapes with it, but I could, and she kind of like giggles to herself at this, add a little something to it to, well, give the wearer a more rosy look on things.
Oh, I couldn't,
Oh, do you not want an enchanted hat? Oh my goodness, I shouldn't have even offered. Oh my goodness, what would happen if you found out that I put an enchanted hat on a prince of another kingdom? Oh my goodness, that would be a scandal for the ages. I would get kicked out of the kingdom, and this would be the worst day of my entire life. My hat would go. And she stops herself.
Please calm down.
Apologies.
It's okay.
Apologies. I tend to get caught up in my thoughts. If this hat shop ever went under, I don't know how I'd live with myself. Not that it's any of your concern, of course. Would you like the color?
The color is so wonderful. That he's the prince is he doesn't enjoy I suppose pinks and peaches, I suppose. Peach is a color.
Peach is a color.
Peach is a color. He's the garden. So I have gotten lost in his in the garden in the castle quite often.
Garden. All right then. And she bustles off to another wall, almost on the other side of the shop, instead of where the green hats were. She presses a switch, and everything on that side of the wall gets color coded, and it is almost entirely like this sort of peachy orangey, pinkish color hats. And there's a lot more of them than there were green ones because, let's be honest, pink is a really good color.
Pink is a very good color.
I mean, I personally like green better, but I'm saying in terms of fashion design, it's usually easier to work with peachy colors.
I see you in the chat, Mock.
Mock, I'm going to fight you. This is a PG-13 Christian server. Anyway. So, she is now looking over all the different hats here. And do you want to roll investigation again and see if there's anything in particular that pops out?
Actually, yeah. Come on, Leapguy.
Come on, Leapguy, you can do it.
That's a 10.
Never mind, you can't do it. He ends up picking out this, kind of sad-looking, it's basically just a beanie, but with a couple little, roses embroidered on the side. And she goes, is this what you were looking for?
I'm not sure.
It does seem a bit plain for someone of royal descent.
I believe I trust your judgment more than I trust my own. I don't wear hats that often.
Trust me. I knew that the moment you walked in. We should probably also grab you something. I'll completely free of charge. You do need a hat before you leave this shop. I refuse. It. And she's still got the green cap on her head, by the way. Like, this is something that she has not noticed at all. Whether or not you notice is up to you. And also, if you
Marian's not saying anything just yet.
Not yet.
Marian, not yet, because, like, hey, the PG thing. They both got distracted by the prince, and he probably thinks she knows.
That makes sense. I am... What am I gonna do? I was gonna have her do something, but I forgot what.
Oh boy.
Basically, she just looks over the wall again. She looks it over. And she spots... God, what kind of hat would this be? Like, I have it in my head. It is... It's simple, but not in the way that the beanie was. There's not a lot of different design notices to it. It's got a slight shimmery goldness to it, like interwoven in the fabric. No outward designs. It's just a plain what would be the word I'd use for that? It's like a mini sun hat. It doesn't quite have as wide of a brim, but it is sort of like a gardener's hat. It's like a gardener's hat.
Oh.
And she looks at it, she goes, and of course, I would be more than happy to tie a ribbon around it, any color of your choice, perhaps a nice red to remind him of you. And she kind of like giggles at that.
I would appreciate it.
And so she pulls the hat down and she whistles again, but it's more like a calling sort of whistle. And this tray of like a bunch of different ribbon colors. Like there's every single color under the sun here. It is ridiculous. She goes, pick one to go around. What kind of bow would you like? Would you like just a simple one? Oh, I could do like a butterfly one, or I could even tie it into a rose if you really wanted that to be happen. And she's talking to herself at this point, but feel free to look through the colors and choose one.
Marian probably he's trying to find one that's like would match his red, like the red shirt he's wearing, but he's also trying to like he's not great at fashion. He's trying to find one that would pair well with the color of the hat.
If it helps any, she's talking over her shoulder now because she's still thinking about the different like types of ribbons. She goes, if it helps any, all these colors subtly adjust to better match the exact shade of the hat which was chosen for it.
Oh, that does help a lot.
They're plain, but like they end up getting a little bit of that same interwoven, barely their base color of the actual hat.
Yeah.
So that way it matches better in shade. This is a magical hat shop. All the hats are magical.
All the hats are magical. So glad I threw Marian in here. Mm-hmm. Marian, picks out this nice red color, and he kind of like holds it out, and he's like, kind of looks over to Millie, and he goes, what do you think?
Doesn't even look at it. She goes, oh, I think that's perfect. Whistles again. The ribbon rack flies right, like just like flies over to her more or less. Almost takes off his finger because it's moving so fast. And
woo!
If you want to roll dex to see if he gets his foot rolled over by it, I would really like to see that.
Oh, wow. just a regular dex check, or
whichever one you think would work best for not getting your foot run over by a ribbon cart. I'm leaving that up to you. A saving throw. Ah, that's it. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
Okay, so if it's a saving throw, that is also the wrong command. My dude, that is a 21.
Okay, so he manages to sort of shoot his foot out of the way just in time, and the ribbon, the cart rattles by, and he sighs a little bit because he's like, oh, thank God I didn't get run over by this thing, because honestly he would have on it otherwise. And she grabs the singular ribbon, like the ribbon bolt that he had picked out. You're not sure how she knew exactly which one to do because she wasn't even looking at him as she did it. And she pulls it out, takes a pair of scissors from her hammer space, and just snips off a little bit of ribbon. And he's still holding the hat. I think she gave Marian the hat, right?
I think.
Let's just assume that she did.
Yeah.
She takes the ribbon, she snips it off, and she's still walking around. She goes, "No, where did I put that cap?" And she's looking for her Lucius's thing. So I'm gonna roll investigation for her, so that way she can actually like see it. That way we can see if she actually will find it, or if someone else, wink wink, will have to point it out to her.
All right.
Okay, she spots it, but not in the way she imagines it. She tries to lean over to look underneath the desk, and instead the hat falls off from her bonnet. She goes, "Oh, there you went, you little rascal!" And she grabs it, and she luckily had finished the embroidery, and she puts that on her little shop cabinet thing. Yeah.
All right.
And she goes, "Come here, come here," and
Marian comes over.
she grabs the little sun hat from Marian, and you're not sure how she does it with just her like little feathers things, but she does it anyway. Ties it into a beautiful little bow with a rose instead of like an actual like bow thing on the edge of it. She goes, all right, and she puts that on the stack as well, and then she turns around, she goes, "Oh, right, of course, yours," and she dashes off into the back rooms. She goes, "Just a minute," it's gone. She's just gone.
Oh boy.
And you hear some crashing noises and what sounds suspiciously like a chicken clucking at one point, like screaming, and also a random elephant noise, like, you know.
Oh dear.
When someone's looking for something, those noises. And he is, I would assume, but of course it is up to you. I like to imagine that Marian is just at the front counter, like, with a super worried expression on his face, like, what is going on back there?
Yeah, absolutely. He's like, do you need any help back there?
I'm fine, don't worry. And finally, she comes back. Her bonnet is very slightly askew, but in her hands, she has just a beret. Not like the hat, but like the hair accessory.
Oh.
And she's like, "I don't usually like to keep these because normally I think that a hat should be penny back to her, but anyway." And she, is it all right if she tries to put it on him?
Oh yeah, he'll let him. He'll let her.
All right. So she walks up to him and she's like, but she doesn't explain it either. She just starts doing it, and she very, very like, where'd it go? I just saw the image of it. Right. She takes like a little bit of the some of his hair that's like going into his eyes and just like pins that back with the beret. That hair clip, that's the better word. With the hair clip, and it snaps into place, and automatically he gets like this. It feels kind of like when you step out of a good, long, warm bath and you've got that, "Oh, I'm relaxed and happy" sort of vibe. Like the moment she snaps it on, it has that feeling, and that feeling washes over him. And she's like, "My gift for you for the wonderful stories." And that's alongside the little pin that she gave him already. And so she sits on the other side of the register. She goes, "All right, so you've got your hat here with the embroidery on it." She's talking to herself still, and she goes, "And then, of course, there's the sun hat, which quite honestly looks very lovely, if I do say so myself. This, and this." And she puts them into two little boxes, and she puts another, like, ribbon tied around them both to sort of stack them together. And finally she says, "Oh, and do mention my hat shop to your prince. I would absolutely love if I could get an international
Oh,
shop
yes,
open, but
of course.
just in case." And she passes it on to him. She goes, "All right, it is," I'm going to make up, I'm not even going to bother saying a price thing because I don't want to think about that right now.
Oh, Moon.
No, not 5. It's at least 10. It is at least 10.
Oh my goodness.
20 gold pieces for each, please, sir.
All right. Marian hands over 40 gold.
Takes it gladly, and she goes, "I hope to see you back here soon with news as to how your gifts turned out."
Oh yes, of course. Thank you very much. And if you ever want to hear more stories, I might come back.
You might. Oh, that's a requirement at this point.
I will. Kind of leans over and whispers, "I will come back," and like does a very goofy wink.
She blushes despite herself. She's like, oh, got this sort of, oh my goodness, how scandalous sort of vibe to it. She goes, no, be on your way, be on your way.
He's joking around, but I slipped into the Italian voice instead of my regular voice. But he's but in all of seriousness, thank you very very much for helping me, and I'll be sure to mention your shop to the prince and to my brother as well. And he takes the hats and he says, I'll come by again."
Of course. And she escorts him to the door, and what is surprising is the fact that the sun is setting. Like, for some reason, time passed in there in such a weird way that the sun began setting before, like, by the time that you exited. You walk out, she closes the door behind you, and you hear a little click, and then the sign flips from open to closed.
Alright.
And that's all I got, if you wanted to say anything else.
Gary kind of like looks back, looks to the setting sun, and he kind of just whistles as he goes back to wherever he's staying. I guess he's staying at a hotel. Kind of. I can't. It's not good. My new microphone doesn't pick up my whistling, but I'm like trying to whistle.
It's okay. I can imagine it in my head.
The Mario Bros. Theme song.
Yeah. Okay. Was that? Do you think that should be just about it for now? Because if so, I'm gonna end the recording.
That's good.
All right. I am ending the recording right now.